All right, YouTubers, if you're watching this as a rerun, you can skip ahead 15 minutes or so before we start on the radio side of things. Just getting hooked up here. Be able to do a couple countdowns here for the radio stations and all that good stuff. So let me know how the audio sounds and how that's going here. Mr. Bulgy, good morning. Waylon, good morning. Good to have you guys with here. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's like 28 degrees out. So, all right, sounds good. Thanks, Waylon. Appreciate that, man. But yeah, so there you go. I got nothing. Staying at a friend's place here. We got the a celebration of life service going on this afternoon. So that's kind of why we came out here, help the family with that. Filling in for Todd in beautiful downtown Bismarck. Did they move the studios or what? I remember when Cape Fire used to actually be downtown. Morning, Karen. Hope everything is just dandy on the Mobridge side. Is there ice starting to form out there, Karen? 14 degrees. I'm sure it's colder at home for. Yeah, I don't know what the temperature is at the ranch. Let me see if I can find it here quick. No ice yet? Okay. It's 14 and cloudy is what it says back home. There you go. We're still in the same location. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. It's a little bit different. Hopefully everything works today. I got with my portable system, I got having a different phone. The new iPhone 15 or 16, whatever the heck I got, does not work with the dongles, the mixer board. It doesn't work together. So I'm having to do this a little different. So I hope it works. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm gonna hopefully get Dusty online here with me and be able to do that. Morning, Dave, Minnesota guy. There you go. And what else here? Let's see here. Hopefully everything lasts a while here. One shot gap. Good morning. Oh man. So went to a fancy restaurant last night. The people that I'm here helping out, they're fancy. Okay. But on the way home, and I had to drive because nobody likes driving in the city. So yeah, leave it to me. I found the only like dive bar in this area last night. Stopped in for one drink, and it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. Lots of fun. Let's see. And there you go. What if my iPad's going to last though? A whole hour if I video. Who knows? Let's see if we can call him up here and see if we can get him on the phone there. It's ringing.
This guy, hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Let's see here. I'm trying to get you on speaker.
Okay. No, I got you loud and clear on this side, so that's dandy. I'm glad this is working. Sorry, it was kind of a sorry, it's kind of a mess getting it all straightened out here. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's just gotta be mess on your end. It came right through on ours, so
good deal.
Yep, got you on speaker. We're good to go, Scott.
All righty. So we're live on YouTube here a little bit before we got about 8-9 minutes here before we start the radio stuff, but I just wanted to make sure we get all hooked up and everything's good to go.
Fantastic. What anything on the agenda particularly this morning?
I will just kind of review some of the advisory meetings you've been going to, and let's just kind of give an update, see what's going
You
on.
bet. You bet.
The Game and Fish made it very clear they will not come on my program anymore. So
You're not alone.
yeah. So if they don't want to come on, I guess we're going to get some, got to get the information out somehow.
That's right.
Wayne,
you can't push your.
Yeah. Wayne Moose says good morning to us.
Hey, morning, Wayne.
Jim, good morning. Do you have it plugged in at least to your iPad? That is. Well, yeah, my iPad is charged 100%, but I have to plug it into my mixer board, so that's why I'm hoping it lasts the whole hour. So that's why I'm not doing video with you, and I'm just doing the call only.
You bet. Trying to save some battery.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So what's in Nashville, Scott?
I got some friends out here. My wife is my wife's friend, but I've been selected to be like part of the friend. What do they call it? Friend family, or what do they call it? Friend family. Anyway, her brother passed away about a month ago, and we're helping with the service today. So we came out to help him a little bit.
Okay, good for you guys.
Yeah, she lives in Brentwood, which is south of Nashville, a little ways, and to me it's all one city, but evidently it's different towns and everything. But she moved her brother into her house and kind of took care of him toward the end. And so I spent most of the first day I was out here, I was out winterizing her outside a little bit and taking care of some odds and ends that kind of got overlooked a little bit while she was doing all that work. So just trying to help out.
You bet. That's very generous.
Yeah.
You guys fly or drive out there?
We flew.
Okay.
Yeah, we left Bismarck on I think it was Wednesday morning. Well, it was supposed to be in the morning, but it got like an hour and a half, 2 hour delay on that plane. And got into Denver, and we went straight on to the next one and came out this way. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So that's about it. Did you get any deer hunting in this year?
Yeah, a lot actually.
Good.
We started in Texas and got a couple down in Texas, and then got back here, and our family didn't draw any rifle tags this year. We had a landowner tag. We're not seeing the numbers of deer, but I strictly bow hunt anyway, and I've been chasing a deer that I've been watching since 2021. And it's pretty much all spot and stock because he's a mule deer, but he's 8 years old. Been watching him for years.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, super neat. So I see him every couple days, but it's just that snow's pretty crunchy, so it's making some pretty tough spot and stock conditions right now.
I agree.
Catch some wind.
I'm a spot and stalker guy, man. I love doing that too.
That is a blast, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't have nothing in our area for deer. It's terrible. I mean, you could take a smaller buck or something, and some does, but I mean, I look at it like raising cattle. It's like, I'm not going to kill the only nice buck out there. It's just like killing your bull when you want them to breed. And the same thing, it's like, well, I don't want to get rid of all my heifers. You're not going to get them bred up if you shoot one of those either. So I think I'm going to let my tags just rest here this year, and hopefully the numbers start popping up a little bit heavier next year.
Right. We've been hearing that all across the state. We even took a tour in the Badlands last week, with this nice fresh snow for 3 hours, and drove some awesome roads. We seriously only saw a handful of deer, Scott.
Yeah. It's tough. Like my winter pasture where my cows are, we call it taking the big loop or the small loop. And every year you're guaranteed you're going to see, 20 to maybe 30 different deer out there on that little short loop. And I guarantee it, this year you can't see it. Not a single one. We run across 0 deer. And so I don't know if the elk are moving them out or if just EHD backlash of that, because there were some sick looking mule deer, and everybody said, oh, mule deer can't get EHD in. I think they can there. Stations 7:03, 8:03 Central Time, 8:03 on Mark. So there's your delay that you can get. But anyway, yeah, I'm just not seeing anything in my area, so I'm just gonna when I get back next week, or I'm just gonna focus on my elk tag, try to get that done.
There you go. Well, people's comments, the low numbers are legit across the state.
Yeah, but then you get like down by south of Scranton area. I got a buddy down there. He's seeing great numbers, but he went through
Sure.
AHD way back when, and I think those deer kind of have a little immunity to it now.
Sure they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but they've been getting some nice ones down in that area.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. And there are a few. There's definitely a few pockets, but it's pretty
Yeah.
slim.
Yeah. Well, I guess they might have to look at dropping the number of tags out there then next year.
Right. That's been a topic, but
yeah, we'll cover a little bit of everything here. Got just under 2 minutes before start time here. But yeah, no, I appreciate you doing this here with me. It's one of the last live programs on a radio here across North and South Dakota. So,
no, our pleasure, Scott. Yeah. It's always nice to get the word out there. Several different topics.
It is. Yeah.
And what the people are seeing and what's not being really pushed down our throats.
And I stopped going to advisory meetings because I asked a question, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, and they said they'll look into it. And then the next year I asked the same question. They said they're going to look into it. And I was like, you're not looking into it. So I just
I
got defeated on that. I was like, well, if you're never going to answer the question, I guess. I miss the days of the Randy Kryl. He was pretty good in there.
Okay.
He always found time to make sure and called me and looked something up, but kind of miss him.
I bet we don't get any of that these days.
No.
And we just get, even like on our chronic page, I can't tell you how many times we've heard, well, I ain't going to the meetings. They don't listen to anybody anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We've witnessed it. We experience it. Yeah. And it's not even that they don't even tell us, that they just don't respond to calls.
Right. Stand by here, Dusty. We're about 20 seconds of showtime. I'm going to turn you down here a little bit. Stations, 15 seconds to showtime on my clock on coming up here, 15 seconds on mark. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, all across the Dakota Territory. Great radio stations like KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, KOLY, Mobridge, K-Fire 550, the voice of the Northern Plains, and Bismarck, Mandan, KCJB and Minot, and the Western Edge, KLTC. Good to have you along here today. As we're looking to be talking a little bit more about chronic waste disease here, and we're going to bring in Dusty Backer here. Dusty, welcome back to the program. Thanks for making some time today. How you been doing?
Hey, good, Scott. Been trying to spot and stock a mule deer that I've watched since 2021. He's 8 years old this year and he's had a limp for a year, and he's, I got a lot of respect for him. He's giving me the fits, but it's just great to be out there, have something to go after this year with the low numbers.
Well, let's talk about, first and foremost, spot and stock, and we'll get to chronic waste here in a little bit, but, let's talk a little bit about hunting. The rifle season in North Dakota is done. Tomorrow is the last day for South Dakota West River season, and the East River has another week to go, but so it's getting down at the end of the rifle side, but you're strictly a bow hunter, and you're like me. You like the spot and stock stuff here, or as John Armin calls it, spot and spook.
Yeah, it definitely takes hours and days and patience to spot and stock, especially with a bow and arrow. That's right.
Yeah. So what type of bow are you running?
I shoot, actually, it's an older Hoyt. It's the old G3 Element is the bow I like. It's just one that, I'm really not a bow guru by any means. It's just one that has fit me for years, and it shoots super fast, and I've had extreme amount of luck with it. So I just keep shooting the same one.
Isn't it crazy how the bows, the compound bows especially, how they have changed over the years? I got, my buddy Jesse, it took me years and years to talk him into updating his bow. And, you look at You start back in like the 90s all the way up to now, how fast these bows have become, and how much faster do you think the technology? Where's the limit going to stop on these things?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to stop. I mean, there's just new technology every year. It seems like faster, stronger with arrows, bows, guns. I mean, scopes. It doesn't.
Yeah.
There's no way to do it. I don't think.
Yeah. You look at scopes anymore. I saw the new Burris Eliminator 6 is my next. Cross my fingers, hope to get something right, and it's taking in temperature, it's taking in your elevation, it's taking in all that automatically, and it gives you that feedback right away. And I think it's a good thing. This technology. Everybody says, "Wow, we should go back to this, long bows or recurve bows." But I've hunted recurve for many years too before I went into compound bows, and I got to tell you, the compound bow to me seems like it's just a nice, cleaner, ethical shot.
Absolutely.
So
And talking about all this kind of extra, brings up ethics in my mind. When it comes to CWD, because that's been such a push. Like, you don't need to bait, you don't need to put something on a feed down, to harvest a deer over. And this issue is not about ethics whatsoever. And we've
yeah.
never even brought it into the CWD issue because it's about the narrative being pushed.
Well, when it kids, what is the word that everybody tells me? The heritage. There you go. Everybody says we need to go back to our heritage of hunting, and I always ask them. I said, "What's your heritage?" I said, "You want to go way back to sticking string and using horses to chase them down?" I
Right.
mean, what's the heritage? When I grew up, I remember going deer hunting, and there'd be 4 or 5 people, and we'd walk draws, and we'd have somebody posted up at the end of that draw or creek or whatever it may be, and that's changed, and I think it's changed for a little bit for the better, because I don't think pushing all those draws and scattering the deer and taking shots on the runner. I think people are a little bit more, a little better, better shot placement now, and it's quicker, faster, and a little bit more humane on that side.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you can argue ethics, almost in several topics all day long, right?
Yeah.
That's just purely judgments. Okay, you can't shoot this deer at 20 yards over a supplemental feed pile, but you can smoke him at 1,000 yards with the high power. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said too, when it comes to this, we'll get into baiting and supplemental feeding, which that's always a hot topic because it depends on how you do it, right? I mean, it's do you take a semi truckload and you drop a whole trailer full of corn out there, or some people are actually putting minerals out and trying to get these deer a little bit healthier, maybe grow the rack a little bit bigger. That all depends on which way you're looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we just got to really get away from the word baiting because it just has such a bad feeling when the entire state can put supplemental feed down anytime, anywhere, any place, any amount. I mean, because even the last legislative session, HB 1151 was called the baiting bill by the North
Yeah.
Dakota Game and Fish and the Bowhunters Association, and it wasn't even a baiting bill; it's just a hunting restriction.
Yeah. So a hunting restriction, which I mean, besides baiting, what do you call it? What would be the better term to use?
Restriction.
Just restriction. Okay.
Yep.
But if I wanted to go out and do supplemental feeding, is that the right term to use?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because even it doesn't matter, even if it's straight corn, which we're not advocates for putting a semi-load of corn down, like you said.
Yeah.
But even corn is still nutrition for the deer.
Absolutely. You look at some of
So
these guys' cornfields. There's deer in them. Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And in the entire state, you can put whatever down you want, whenever you want, even
Yeah.
in the restricted units. We just need to make that clear to people because that was a lot of confusion.
Yeah. You can put whatever you want down. It's just the hunting over it it's in
Correct.
question. Right. Okay. And
That's the hunting
I don't
restriction.
think a lot of people do that very much. I mean, maybe I'm just thinking my area. I don't see that a whole lot. I mean, you might see somebody putting out some mineral here and there and getting some game camera pictures over a block or a lick station or whatever it may be. But I don't think you see as much like I'm just going to put this pile of corn in front of my blind and just wait for some deer to come in. I guess I haven't seen that.
Right. We don't see it a lot here either. It's more people, I mean, they're putting it down majority of the year And there's very few people that really even do that. It's more like when, I think we get kids out there and stuff, it's definitely more useful then for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, and you want to get your kid a good, the best possible shot you can, whether it's archery or a rifle. And before I get into going into a rabbit hole with chronic waste disease, I do want to get your opinion. We talk about the equipment and archery compound bows getting faster and faster. And one of the arguments against crossbows in the state was, well, that's cheating. This crossbow goes like 400 feet per second. Well, now you're starting to see compound bows do the same thing. Are we going to start seeing that a pushback because of they don't like people using crossbows? Are we going to start seeing that kind of pushback with the faster bows that are going to be coming out in the next few years?
It's just a matter of where does it end, right?
Yeah.
Because the technology, like we just said, is going to keep getting better and more fine tuned. It's just, I look at it this way. In some of the like trophy areas, people are kind of like anti crossbows, anti baiting, but at the end of the day, it's about people just getting involved in hunting and
Right.
getting out there and spending time with friends and family and relationships. So I don't really care if they shoot it with a crossbow or shoot it at 1,000 yards. I mean, why are we allowing judgments to dictate the hunting heritage?
Agreed. Just just hunt. Just go out and hunt, right? I mean, at least they're out there
Exactly.
enjoying it, and you see this. I mean, I'm in Nashville right now, and they don't even talk about hunting out here. You start getting to those urban areas, but we're up against our first break here. Stick with me here. Dusty Backer's my guest here. We'll start talking about chronic waste disease, what's been going on in some of these advisory meetings all across the state. And if you would like to text in, feel free, 701-425-6651.
There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, BowmanLivestockMarketing.com. Piper's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to the next round of auctions coming up Tuesday, December 3rd, the Southern Dakota 2024 Winter Equipment Auction featuring 2 rings, including a 3rd ring on Wednesday, December 4th. That's timed online only. Then on Wednesday, December 4th, the Fredericks Estate Auction by Twin Buttes, North Dakota, featuring a great lineup of farm and ranch equipment. For more information on these auctions and a great lineup of land auctions, go to Pifers.com.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, the bank that puts community in its name. We're not just any bank. We're your trusted partner in lending. With a strong commitment to our local communities, we go above and beyond to support and uplift the areas we serve. From providing personalized lending solutions to supporting local businesses and organizations, Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where the community is at the heartbeat of everything we do.
Equal housing lender.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's your tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
On that road. But don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors continues here on a Saturday morning. Hopefully, it's nice where you're at here today. Dusty Becker is my guest here. Dusty, welcome back here from the break. Are you ready to take some questions and comments that I got some coming in here. So, first one says 3F2 in the southern part of North Dakota here is very low in deer numbers, but still give out a ton of tags. I don't understand it. Has that been discussed at some of these advisory meetings about the different numbers of deer we've been seeing this year?
Yes, that's been at the meeting I was at. That was a really big topic, just about populations across the state. But 3F2, I can answer that one very clearly. That is because of CWD. They issue so many tags in that unit to keep their numbers low, so the people are actually culling the deer for the North Dakota Game and Fish.
Really? Okay.
The first positive was detected in 2009 in 3F2, and they've been pounding that unit ever since. But the crazy thing is their surveillance zones went to the southeast part of the state this year, so they didn't focus on 3F2. And the last couple of years, the detections have been in the 20s, like 25 in that unit. And since they quit focusing on 3F2, it went down to 11.
Shocker.
Shocker.
Yeah. Huh. So, I mean, if they're going to have the hunters do the culling for them, did they ever discuss what their goal number is? I mean, the buck to doe ratio that they're looking for?
They didn't mention the number, no. We would like to know the percentage, though, of what is actually being culled through tags for CWD.
Okay. Another question came in and says, what about letting everybody use a crossbow to hunt? Where do you stand on that? Because I know in North Dakota, I know South Dakota is a little bit different, but North Dakota law is you need to have a doctor's permission or a slip from a doctor in order to use a crossbow, I think. And, why are people so against it? What's wrong with that?
Man, that's a tough one, too. I mean, I make judgment on the weapon of choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how many people are against crossbows, and then, just another form of hunting. I look at it like that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Exactly. And if the tags are managed, that's really what it boils down to as far as population. So
yeah,
doesn't matter the weapon if the tags are controlled,
years ago they were talking about going to a one tag system, where, like right now, if you get drawn for your rifle tag, you can still have your archery tag, and you might even get a muzzleloader drawn tag. But What would you say about going to like a one tag system? Because in their mind, they were like, well, if we start allowing crossbows, it's going to take this many more deer out of the system, and we're going to have to, limit this and this and this and this. Where do you stand on that idea?
To me, I mean, all the tags that the Game Fish put out, and each tag really is just equals a dead deer, right? So to me, I think I guess what does it really matter what weapon you use or who uses it, just as long as the tags are managed where our population doesn't get too low. And as far as the one tag system goes, that was a topic actually at the advisory board meeting.
How did that go over?
Like everything else, this guy just kept going back to our department. Speaking for the department, the department standpoint, basically a no.
Yeah,
they don't listen.
Okay. Another comment was made. Jim says, "I'm still shooting my Bowtech Allegiance that I can't remember how long I bought it." So there's still people shooting the older bows out there too. If it works,
that's great.
Why not, right?
Exactly.
Waylon, that's in that 3F2 unit, he says it's stupid how many tags they give out, and that unit numbers are terrible. Their family ate 7 tags this year from their hunting group. So, you're going to see that this year. I just don't see the number of deer out there to support the number of tags.
And that was a huge topic at the meeting too. And people are getting really frustrated with it. And the Game of Fish, they have no answer for it. And keep in mind, this could have been prevented because in the winter of 2022-23, I mean, 50,000 plus deer they let starve to death, and they were in charge of that. Because of 1151, they put their foot down and didn't want to help the landowners feed the deer to keep them alive. So it's just a downward spiral for them.
Well, it can get expensive, I'll tell you that. One text message comes in. He says, my neighbor shoots his compound bow further than and more accurate than I can with my crossbow. So you possibly can do that. So yeah, I can see that. And Dave out of the Minnesota side text in. He says, we have the same problems here. Everybody complains about the crossbows. I won't even be able to hunt anymore if it wasn't for a crossbow. My shoulders are shot, and I look at it as if they should do the same thing with shotguns. My new shotgun with a scope, I can shoot out 70 to 100 yards. And that's a different thing because in Minnesota, they use shotguns with slugs to go deer hunting, which, I've never even thought about that. You're looking at different hunting styles no matter which state you go to.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
I bring up a good point, a couple of good points too there. Some of those questions, because it boils down to we the people are the stewards of the land, Scott. So like you talked about, you're not going to go out and just shoot any deer. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that this year, ourselves included with the one landowner tag we have. We're not going to go out and just shoot a deer to fill the freezer, even though our family lives off of deer meat. We need the population to come back.
Absolutely.
So we're going to give up our tags.
Yeah, I gave up my rifle tag this year. I saw one doe and her yearling fawn with her. That's all I saw. I mean, over and over and over. So another message comes in. It says, thanks for keeping the CWD talk going. You guys are making a difference, educating all the mistruths out there. He says, but please visit Unit 2K1, where the Game and Fish imposed a baiting restriction 2 years ago, but still haven't enforced it. It sounds like the Good Old Boys Club to me. If it's all about the disease, then why don't they enforce their own restrictions?
That's a great question, because that just points out the hypocrisy, Scott. They said 2 years ago that unit was to be banned, but since the proclamation came out a week before season, they didn't ban it. And then now the exact same thing this last year too. They're not going to ban it again, and they added that one. So they have certain surveillance zones that they're going to focus their testing on. They added 2K1 and even crossed the river on our side of the river and put 3B2 in it, because that one was supposed to be years ago too. And there's 3 northern units, 2E, 2D, and 2C were supposed to be banned because of a detection in Canada. And those aren't banned either. I mean, the hypocrisy, you can poke holes in this all day long. That just proves that it's the narrative being pushed.
So do you think that the new governor is going to change any of this stuff, or have any influence on it, do you think?
We've heard kind of mixed feelings about it. We've heard a lot about it. And, the other governor's office killed HB 1151. So I guess, what can we do with Kelly Armstrong? You probably know him better than we do.
Yeah, I guess
we just need people.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off there. I apologize.
We just need people to step up and start making calls to legislators and Kelly Armstrong.
Sure. We're getting close to our break here, but we're going to discuss on the second half of the program here the money that's involved in this and where it's coming from, and that's kind of the interesting thing, because I saw your video clip, and if people want to watch that coming up here when we do the bottom of the hour break here, they can go to the Facebook page, Chronic Waste Dis-ease, and see that video, and it's an interesting video. Just we'll talk about it in the second half, but I think people, if you could go watch it, then we'll discuss it a little bit more too. But before we get to that point, if you want to call in, or I should say you can't call in here today, but you can sure text 701-425-6651 if you have questions or comments. I'm also live chatting on my YouTube channel at the same time here. And we're talking a little bit more about chronic waste disease. How many of these advisor meetings did you attend, or was it just the one that was local to your area, Dusty?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay.
This year. Yep.
Have you been talking to other people around the state that go to some of the other ones? Have they been telling you kind of the
Absolutely.
same thing? Just kind of the, it's a hot topic. I mean, chronic waste disease. Colorado had it since the 50s, and they still have a good hunting season down there. And it seems like a lot of the information that you're seeing, whether it's websites, and you just do a plain Google search, and it seems like, it's, oh my God, the deer are going to absolutely die off on this, and it's the end of the world here. But we'll talk about that here coming up on the second break. So you got a 5-minute break here, Dusty. We'll be right back. Coming up your way again, 701-425-6651 is the text number. If you'd like to live chat, you can always find my YouTube channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. We'll have more coming up your way here on Dakota Prairie Outdoors second half, talking chronic waste disease with Dusty Backer, and we'll see what some of the thoughts and processes have been going on around the area. We'll be back right after these messages.
There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, BowmanLivestockMarketing.com. Piper's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to the next round of auctions coming up Tuesday, December 3rd, the Southern Dakota 2024 Winter Equipment Auction featuring 2 rings, including a 3rd ring on Wednesday, December 4th. That's timed online only. Then on Wednesday, December 4th, the Fredericks Estate Auction by Twin Buttes, North Dakota, featuring a great lineup of farm and ranch equipment. For more information on these auctions and a great lineup of land auctions, go to Pifers.com.
I'm Dale Paulke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, the bank that puts community in its name. We're not just any bank. We're your trusted partner in lending. With a strong commitment to our local communities, we go above and beyond to support and uplift the areas we serve. From providing personalized lending solutions to supporting local businesses and organizations, Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where the community is at the heartbeat of everything we do.
Equal housing lender.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19-plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran-owned and operated. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. You need a place to stay? The Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition continued here across the nation as broadcasting out of the Nashville, Tennessee area here for a beautiful Saturday out here. I know it's a lot warmer here than it is back in North Dakota, Dusty. What do you got for temperature this morning?
0 here in North Dakota, but hey,
Zero.
the wind's not blowing.
I was watching a TikTok thing. It says if you plan on moving to North Dakota, you have to make sure that you understand you have to finish everything with, but at least it wouldn't be as bad if the wind wasn't blowing. So, yeah, you got to get the terminology. All right, we got a couple of text messages I'd like to get to. I really encourage people to have a little fun with us and give us some questions and comments. One out of South Dakota says South Dakota requires a doctor's statement of a disability to get a crossbow permit, good for 4 years. So much like I think North Dakota here. And then another one comes in. It says, let's see here. There was a deer found with chronic waste disease 2 years ago, 60 miles to the north of where I live. And now our zone, we can't even use deer lures like, estrus or whatever. There was one found north of the Twin Cities, and that zone went into 5 deer limit. And so even in the Minnesota side, they're really restricting this. And is that the plan? I mean, is just killing all the deer off? Is that how you get rid of chronic waste disease, or is it that big of a problem, Dusty?
It's not even a problem. When there is only a handful of confirmations in the entire nation, Scott, after 57 years, like it's not even insanity anymore. It's absolutely criminal what these agencies are doing. Detections do not equal disease. These tests they're using do not pick up a neurodegenerative disease. We've spoken to the manufacturers and distributors of these ELISA tests, and they don't pick up prions. They pick up antigens. And he said they're very similar to the PCR. The more you amplify, the more crap you pick up.
So what's the difference? So explain this. So they can detect it, so you do the head collection sites or whatever, and they say chronic waste has been detected. What exactly does that mean?
It's just what their test is picking up. So they, like the head collection sites, they dissect the head and get the lymph nodes next to the brainstem. And they also test tonsils, and they also can test rectum tissue. Well, lymph nodes, tonsils, rectum tissue, what does that do inside the body? It gets rid of toxins.
Yeah.
We're testing where all the toxins leave your body. the prion is still a hypothesis. It's theoretical. It's never been proven after 57 years and over $500 million. And they want to waste another $420 million on the same stuff, Scott. Test, restrict, surveillance. What's that doing for the deer? What's that doing for the people? I mean, they have slaughtered hundreds of thousands of deer across the nation because of this
Yeah.
so-called prion disease. It's criminal.
Another text message comes in here. I want to make sure I get them to you because they're asking you these questions here, Dusty. It says, if the Game and Fish was so worried about CWD, why don't they collect all the roadkill deer and test them as well? I know 5 landowners, including myself, who never filled their gratis tag this year. I am now on 5 years of doing that. I'm also one of those guys here too. So why, are they collecting roadkill deer and testing them as well? Or is that just thrown in the ditch and said to heck with them?
No, they test roadkill deer too. Yep.
do?
There was an article that Doug Lear put out up in the Grand Forks area. He even got his family and friends to looking for deer.
Okay.
Hit deer on the highways to test for CWD. Just so everyone knows out there, this is just a testing epidemic. And if we haven't learned anything in the last 4 years, try a 57-year COVID.
Yeah, exactly. So before the break, I told people if they could go to your Facebook page and watch that video. Let's talk a little bit about this video that you posted, because it was, you're claiming there's only been one deer that tested positive for CWD the right way. I mean, there's different ways of testing, but explain that again, how that conversation went and the Game and Fish's reaction to some of the things you were saying on there.
So I've been to several of these meetings the last several years, and there's a huge disconnect, and it's getting worse between the public and the Game and Fish. And I've been getting word that there's been about 30 people at these meetings, and the one I went to was actually the Valley City meeting at the college, and there was about 70, 80 people, a great turnout. And some people had some super insightful comments and concerns and ideas. And the Game and Fish continually just don't take notes, no ideas, just dismiss everybody's ideas. But I just had a simple question of what are the federal grants being used for? Because in 2022, the North Dakota Game and Fish got $96,300 shifting behaviors to lower the risk of CWD, a multimedia approach. And now in 2024, they're getting $168,000 cultivating long-term engagement and a long-term issue. And I wanted to know what that exactly meant and what that money is being used for, and have they gotten it yet? And every agency uses an AFWA document, Associations of Fish and Wildlife Agency document, and it has a human dimensions section in it. So they're using that money for marketing, informing the people, awareness, billboards, pamphlets. Scott, for one deer in the state of North Dakota has actually been confirmed with encephalopathy. And I got told, no, that's not true. Well, he's like, no, we have positives every year. Right. Their own department doesn't even know the difference between a detection and a confirmation. We've had 120 detections in the state of North Dakota out of 40,000 plus deer. So let's say we want to use that number. Is that even contagious? Out of 22 years, 120 detections? But only one deer has been necropsied and had encephalopathy. And that is our money being used to essentially brainwash us. Human dimensions. Billboards for one deer, Scott.
Yeah. Why? How come there's no information like this about EHD, which killed thousands of deer here a few years ago? Even this year, there were some EHD problems.
That's a great question. And that's how we started this, really the CWD journey several years ago, because in 2021, it hit here. We've never had it, right? And it killed 98% of our deer. Like, we're still wiped out from that. And we tried calling the Game and Fish, and they wouldn't respond. And then in 2022, they started having these CWD meetings. So we still weren't getting responses. We had to send a certified letter, Scott, to get our questions answered.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And then they started calling back. And we're not the only ones.
Yeah. So another text comes in. It says, I got a simple question. Why are we losing deer? If chronic wasting is not the problem, where are the deer numbers going? Fawn recruitment is horrible right now due to the high coyote numbers. We are losing adult deer in the area, and it's not winter kill. So why are we seeing, is this just from, in my area, I still credit it to the EHD 3 years ago that wiped out just a ton of deer. So is it still that, or what do you think the low numbers are from?
It's a number of things. It's definitely not CWD whatsoever, but yet they're spending $264,000 the last 3 years on it. It is definitely coming from EHD, the harsh winters, and the drought conditions in fawn recruitment.
Yeah.
And coyotes. Coyotes was brought up too in this last meeting, and they just kept dismissing this gentleman who wanted, to fly planes. What can the landowners do to get these coyotes under control?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just dismissed him. I'm thinking maybe a bounty or something, but I wasn't going to say anything because they just dismissed you.
Yeah. So why would they dismiss the coyote? Look at it. Look at what we have on the western side. We got coyotes, we got mountain lions, we got black bear now. All right. So tell me why those nobody's concerned about that high numbers of those animals being around.
That's a good question, because the federal government and the state agencies, they can use planes to fly and kill the coyote, but the landowner people can't.
Yeah, so that's one thing I really, really commend South Dakota. You can fly your own land, and you can take care of it and help yourself down that way, which I think is awesome. I have the USDA guy come out, and in the springtime, right around that February, right before I start calving, and he comes out, and it's hard to fly my country. He tried a couple times and had a couple people come out there, Dusty, but it's just too rough a ground in order to fly safely, I would say,
Sure.
to get some of these coyotes they're kind of sneaky out that way. So he comes out and he does a lot of trapping and snaring, and he can snare at the time of the year where I'm not allowed to snare. And I wish they could open that up too and allow the landowners the opportunity to try to have a little bit more, more time to do this here, especially during calving season. And the same thing, with night vision and thermal hunting. You quit on March 15th is their day that you got to stop doing that. But my calving starts at the end of March and goes through. They say, well, you can still do it. And you can still have this person do it. But why is there a date on it anyway? I mean, I understand you don't want to use thermal during the deer rifle season, but the rest of the year, I don't understand.
Right. It just seems like if you don't agree with the game of fish, you're just wrong.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead here. I got a couple more comments that I'd like to get to and ask you here.
No, go ahead, Scott. Let's get to them.
Okay. Judy wants to know. She says, talk about if poaching has influenced North Dakota low deer population. And I'm not aware. Is poaching an issue in the state? Is that something or not? Was that brought up?
That was not brought up, and actually, we haven't even heard any topics on poaching really. So I don't have any information on poaching around here. It's definitely not.
Yeah, I guess I haven't seen a whole lot in my neck of the woods. But then again, if somebody's doing it, they're probably not telling people either. So,
right.
I don't know. The mayor of Mobridge says, is this campaign that they're sending all this pamphlets out to tell me to use rubber gloves to field dress my deer?
Yeah, maybe it's part of it, but I mean, they want hunters to send their own samples in. This thing is so contagious, so deadly. Prions are everywhere, but here, cut your deers, through the spinal cord and send your own sample kit in. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
No.
There's just no discernment when it comes to this CWD narrative.
Yeah. That's what the Dead Wolf Resistance says here. He's like, so they're kind of playing the COVID game with their deer population now.
For 57 years. That's why I say it's no longer insanity. It's criminal.
For 57 years. Oh, good stuff here. Let's see. I'm making sure I get all the comments and everything done here at this point before I go on here. So, okay. I think we're caught up with a few of them here. If you do have any more comments or questions, please, the number 701-425-6651. And it's also on live chatting on YouTube as well. So what's going to happen here? Go into your magic 8-ball, shake it up and tell me, what do you see the future? Are they just going to continue using the money, making sure that they get the information out about chronic waste disease? Is it going to be just status quo and basically just let things ride the way they've been doing them?
Yep, that's their focus. I mean, it's very clear at these meetings, or you bring up CWD, the game of fish at all, they are just pushing a narrative. Like, majority of them at the department, they don't even want to talk about it. They don't want to bring it up anymore, which is great. The people are making a difference, but they don't even know why they're even really pushing this yet. It's coming from above.
So should something be done though? I mean, it is chronic waste. It is out there. It's not like it's a fake thing. We know one deer has been truly proven to have it. Should a person do something about it? But at what level?
Absolutely not. Nothing needs to be done.
Nothing.
It's a testing epidemic. The testing and money goes away. This goes away. Now, I'm not saying it's not a real disease. Yes, it is, but it's just that rare.
Yeah.
Of a disease. And if anything helps it, it's actually supplemental feed. Then your liver can produce cholesterol, which is the myelin of the brain and spinal cord.
Be interesting if they could do some testing and see if maybe there's a mineral that can be designed to put out for deer that would help this. Actually,
really?
Use it for a positive side.
It's really just the 90 essential nutrients takes care of the myelin in your brain as well. So that's all we got to do is just like, with livestock, Scott. That's why you give them minerals and salt and they get the nutrients they need. The deer are the same way. Majority of the deer already get the nutrients. That's why nothing needs to be done.
Yeah. A couple more comments here. It says, as long as the money keeps coming in, nothing will change. Dakota Predator Hunters, what's the number to call in? You can't call in today because I'm on the road, and I apologize for that. Alderman, I really do apologize, but you can text me, 701-425-6651. Again, 701-425-6651 if you want to text me. I apologize that we can't take calls here. And but that happens, Dusty. I mean, if I'm on the road, I still got to carry my equipment with. It's just different than my home studio. So
Sure.
it just happens that way. And you can tell people want to share their story about this. And do you ever run across some of these advisor meetings where people come in and they're truly worried about CWD? I mean, are there people out there going, "Oh my God, this is going to ruin everything"? I'm scared about this.
There's been a couple of years ago, not so much anymore because a lot of people are getting educated about it. But the fear mongering is still working, because they have majority of the media and the magazines and the money. So there's a few out there that are still turning heads in and still, I don't want to get my family sick when it's never been transferred to humans, and you're not going to.
Yeah.
So, but not a lot, no.
Okay.
But people feel free to call me 402-360-1038 if you want to share your story or talk CWD. Love to hear from you.
Well, we got a guy texting right now. He says he's got a question for you, and we'll get to that as soon as it gets sent through here. But we only got about 3 minutes left here, folks. Okay, so I know this is a good topic, and I think a person could have a roundtable discussion on this for hours on a podcast or a radio show like this here, Dusty, because it seems like everybody wants to chime in here. He says, taking rifle season out of the rut, change it to October, better genetics more often. Now, what's your take on that?
I'm just going to give my opinion on this one.
Yeah.
So I do love trophy deer. I'm not just a trophy hunter because my family lives on deer, but I'm a trophy. I love giant bucks, right? So every year I don't even tag a buck. I'm looking for a specific deer. So would I like the rifles moved out of rut? Yes, I would, because then we would have bigger deer. But as long as there's enough deer on the landscape for people to go harvest and have fun with their family and friends, that's what it's ultimately about.
Now he said, change it to October. I would like to see it to change maybe to December. Let those bucks breed before the rifle season.
That's a good point, Scott.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you go out there in October and you see some of these nice bucks and you shoot them, they're not going to make the rut to be able to get their genetics passed on. So I don't know, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's always been one of those topics that kind of intrigues me, and I understand why we have rifle season during the rut. You have a chance, these bucks are hanging out with these does and they kind of have some, something else on their mind at that time, but
right.
But
and really,
but I'm sorry, but if you look at it though, with archery season starting September 1st, there's always a chance that you're going to be taking out some of those really, really good genetics, one way or another.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
This would be a good place for the new administration, DOGE, to start. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe you do. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they're referring to like Vivek and Elon taking over the DOG.
Okay. 100% on deer season move to December. So I'm getting some people that agree with the same thing that we're discussing here. So, but yeah. So before we let you go here again, I want people to understand that you're more than willing to talk with them, discuss things, and have a conversation, no matter one way or another. And again, give your phone number if that's okay for people to give you a call. Yeah, actually give it out twice so they can write it down or maybe punch it in their phone really quick.
You bet. So it's Dusty Backer, 402-360-1038. That's 402-360-1038. And please follow our Chronic Wasting Disease Facebook page as well. It's Dis space ease.
Yeah.
Chronic Wasting Dis space ease.
And
Feel free to message us through there as well.
yeah, you message it through that way. That's how I got in contact with you here today. And if people want more information, I went and did a quick Google search before we started here today, and everything that's online seems like it's the end of the world. Chronic waste disease is going to be the death of deer and elk and any hooved animal out there, and that's just not true. So where can a person find some more information? Probably a little bit more research side of this here. Is there a place for that?
That's the tough part. Yeah. Go to YouTube and watch CWD. They missed it by a million miles. That's a video we put together with Dr. Joel Wallach. That's about some of the best information you can get.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Well, Dusty, as always, thank you for taking time here on a Saturday and coming on the radio program with me. And you have yourself a great one. I hope Thanksgiving was good. Have yourself a Merry Christmas too.
Same to you, Scott, and same to everybody out there and your listeners. Really appreciate it.
All right. Dusty Backer's his name. And if you would like that number, you can just go back to my YouTube channel and listen back for that number here. Have yourself a great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk. Wear fur and wool, everybody. Support your local farmers and ranchers. Have yourself a great weekend. All right, stations, thank you. Dusty, we are still on YouTube, but we should be clear from the radio station. So thank you so much. I want to make sure I don't miss anything here that maybe people asked. I would like muzzleloader season in October, but that falls on deaf ears.
Yeah, everything does. So.
Holy moly. Okay. Not for air on your program. Okay. Thanks for telling me that, and I won't share it on my program. So what I'll do here, Dusty, stay with me. YouTube, I'm going to shut my YouTube channel down, and then I'll cover this text message with you privately. Okay, so just stay there. YouTube, thanks everybody for tuning in. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll be back on the attack here next week here.
We got the human dimension. So.
Let's get that